Hello and welcome to the Man Up Reunion. Yay! Woo-woo! I'm so excited. It's been a long time coming. Yes, a lot of people played an important role in making this film a movement. That's right. Man Up, the exploration of a fatherless nation, was not just a documentary film. It was an entire movement. And you will hear that today as we go through and discuss how powerful and impactful this film was. So sit back and enjoy. I'm your host, Tonia Grady, aka Grady Girl. I am also the executive producer and director of Man Up, the exploration of a fatherless nation. I want to give a big thank you out to all of the specially invited guests to the Man Up reunion. I'll name all of the people who were invited. Franklin Malone, Wendy White, Jeffrey Johnson, Tabiti Boone, LeVar Young, Brenda Parrish, Blaney Bostic, Bijou Romero, Bill Stephanie, Sheila Gray, Zachy Dar, Alicia Crow. Thank you all. Thank you. Let's take a trip down memory lane. I am going to play the trailer so a lot of people could get reacquainted with some of the feature stories in the documentary. So here we go.
Actually, I never met my father, and I hope one day I will meet him. Like, he don't know who I am.
It's been at least 7 or 8 years, and I just want to connect more and spend more time because he's been gone for so long.
When I was younger, I used to be around my dad, but as I grew up, he stopped coming around.
I took it personally. I tell people I did. My mom was like, don't never blame yourself. I was like, I don't blame myself, but I really did.
I was raised without a father, and I know where I went and where I turned off, and I don't want them to turn off and go down the wrong path.
I want my dad to know that I want him to come to my events. I want him to see what's happening in my life.
Honestly, I know me myself can't do it by myself. I know we need a nation of men to stand up and really be first and foremost responsible fathers.
To see what I've accomplished, to be there for me. And he's not. This doesn't make any sense.
Waiting on the world to change. We keep on waiting on the world.
Hello, everyone. Thank y'all for being here. Hello. Y'all can play with me. It's a reunion. Hi. I see you now. Hi.
Okay, hey, how you doing? Long time no see. What's going on?
Oh my God, it's been way too long.
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming out to play with us.
Of course, anytime.
I say play because for me, this is nothing but good times.
Absolutely.
Like, just seeing all of you guys, it just feels good because a long time has gone by. A long time. And we got to get the actual time, because I know people don't really know the full story. They only know where they came in on the documentary. But it's a whole story before that. A whole story. Now I'm just going to announce who is here in the room. We got Brenda Santiago, who is now Brenda Parrish. Look, congratulations on that wedding, baby.
Thank you. A few years ago, but yeah, thanks.
It's all new to me. B is from Atlanta, and B is one of the field producers on Man Up. And I'm glad she is here in attendance because part of this, I wanted the whole crew to be here. I spoke to Fred, he's supposed to be on too. Bijou's supposed to come in because I really need to properly thank you guys. And that's why this is real special for me, because I really realized that everything was moving so fast. And when I look back on it now that I have time to sit and just be like, I realized I could have did a lot of things differently and better. And you know what? You can always apologize and acknowledge it because I see it now. We have Mr. Bill Stephanie in the house, who is the principal at Broad Market Media, LLC. Hello, Mr. Stephanie.
Hey there, Tonya. How are you? Please don't say Mr. Stephanie either.
Okay, Bill. I try to keep it professional a little bit because y'all know I ain't got too much sense. I like to play games, but I just want to say thank you so much for taking time out to be here with us. It means a lot to me. I appreciate it.
Cool.
I really, really do. Hopefully,
I can't believe it's been 10 years.
It's been over 10 years.
Over 10 years.
How long? That's why I said we're gonna go through the story. It's been over 10 years. Okay, we got Mr. Franklin Malone in the house. Hello. I call him Sir Malone.
Aubrey.
I call you Sir Malone.
Aubrey, come here and say hello to everybody. Please.
For all of y'all who don't know, Franklin Malone is, I call him the godfather of the fatherhood movement. That's what I like to call him.
This is my assistant. Say hi to everybody.
Okay, wait. Hi, Aubrey. How are you?
She's been on with all my calls with Martin Luther King all across the nation. She sits up and gets on Zoom.
Hi.
Hello.
Finish introducing everybody.
Wanted to give everybody their accolades that put this movie on this entire stack. I'm honored to be in you all's presence tonight. Thank you for all that you do for fathers and families. Peace and blessings. All right.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate that. I just want to finish just introducing, people who are on the call right now. We have Zachy Dar, and Zachy, thank you so much for being here. He's the founder of Pro Graphics. And again, it's been a long time since I've seen you, brother, and I appreciate you taking time out to come and play with us.
Oh, absolutely. Anytime, Tonya, anytime.
Great. So when I get to you, we're gonna talk about me coming to Milwaukee, and I do want you to explain to these people how you laid it out for me. Like, we're gonna get to that.
I will do. We'll do that.
I have some highlights. I'm gonna tell some stories. I have some highlights. But
okay, cool.
We gonna get to that. I just want to make sure. I want my daughter Skylar, who's on, to say hello to everybody. Hey, Sky.
Sky.
Hello,
hey, Sky.
Hey, Skylar. How you doing?
Hello.
Come over here and see your uncle. I know you down here at Howard.
Yeah.
Come on over here. I got a pizza. I got a piece of chicken or something for you.
Okay.
That's right. My baby's in Howard. She's a sophomore.
Oh, we're proud.
And you know what? Before I do anything else, because once I start running my mouth, this time is going to go real fast. But I want to take this moment to just say a heartfelt thank you to my daughter, because y'all don't understand, this girl has been with me since she came out my womb. And when I say that, I was working at CNN as a producer when I had Sky. And when I say I would bring her to work sometimes, she would come to editing sessions. She has been by my side the whole way. And it's in her, it's ingrained in her. And she has really helped me unconditionally. And she's been such an inspiration to me. She's really literally the wind beneath my wings. And I tell her a lot, but I like to tell other people how much she means to me, and just how much she actually works. And it's funny because she's usually here when I have to do Zoom calls. She's in the back, she's getting the lights, she's getting everything set up while I'm trying to fix my wig. She's usually trying to get everything else together. So Girl, I love you, and thank you so much. You're gonna have to say
You're
something.
welcome. Thank you for that.
Okay, you in college now, so we gonna speak. I want you to speak.
Mm-hmm.
You want to say your part now? Because I know you're going to dip out.
I'm just can't believe that it's been 10 years since the film has been out, and that I'm the reason for the film's creation. But also, I'm proud of you and your work in the fatherless community, and just really proud of everything that's come over the years.
Oh, that's so sweet. That's so sweet. I appreciate
Well
you.
said. Well said.
I appreciate and again, it's been way longer than 10 years. It really has. Because it basically goes back to, and I don't even want to tell the story until more people get on this line, because I'm not going to do it again. I feel thankful to everybody. Let me read these names again to all the people that helped. And I'm going to start with my crew. Of course, B. Parrish. We got Bijou Romero. We got Fred Hall. I want to give a shout out to the guy who edited the documentary. His name is Lincoln Frost. He was the editor, and Will Caldwell was one of the shooters as well. So I'm just going to start at the top as far as the fatherhood leaders. Okay, Franklin Malone, again, CEO of 100 Fathers, Rites of Passage, Boyhood to Manhood. Wendy White, Executive Director at Three Doctors Foundation. Jeffrey M. Johnson, President and Chief Executive Officer of the National Partnership for Community Leadership, NPCL. Tabidi Boone, former President Obama White House Fatherhood Champion. LeVar Young, Senior Vice President at Mercury Public Affairs. We already said you guys, Brenda. Blaney Bostic, Director of New Haven Fatherhood Academy. Bill Stephanie, Principal at Broad Market Media LLC. Sheila Gray, Founder, Sheila Gray Collection. Zaki Dar, Founder of Pro Graphics. Thank you to the YMCA of Racine, Wisconsin. Thank you to all of you guys for bringing me down there and giving me the keys to the city and treat me so nice. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I want to give a shout out to Alicia Crow, entrepreneur, author, lawyer, co-host, and vocalist. And if anybody was at the New York screening, she does a one-woman show, and she did this one-woman piece on fatherhood that was just breathtaking. Thank you, Alicia, for that. Wishing you all the best. I wish you could have been a part of this. Now, Bill, you've been on the line with us for a minute, so I wanna come to you, and I wanna just again thank you for being here with us. I want you to tell me your thoughts about the documentary and whatever else you would like to share with us.
Thank you for again. Having me and putting all of this together. It's always good, I think, to look back and see where you've been, which gives you a better sense of where you're going to go. I think that you are part of a trailblazing generation of storytellers who, decided to focus on one of the most important issues that we could even imagine or think of, which is, our families. Our families are the building blocks of our communities, of our society. So, to the extent that we can turn on the news at 11 o'clock and see all sorts of stories about all sorts of other things, but, very rarely will you see stories about the critical impact of what family means, so that then translates to folks like you, who really fill a void of telling those stories. And I think of you and Jenks Morton and Derek Phillips and Kobe Brown. There are a number of folks who, over the course of the past 15 or 20 years, have decided to tell these stories. And I think that we're, as a society, that we're better off for the fact that, all of you decided to put a critical lens on how we've had challenges in formulating effective fatherhood, effective motherhood, effective family formation. But I think there's been progress. I think net progress over the course of the past 20 to 25 years. Hey, when I started working on these issues many years ago with Tabiti Boone, the argument was that fathers were unnecessary to the raising of children, and we're no longer there. So it's a testament to the work that you've done and other folks have done.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. Go ahead, Zaki. You want to jump in there?
No, I just want to agree with everything that he was saying, because at the time, when you did the documentary, there was a lot of issues going on in the Black community, just like it is now. But you were able to help me establish, like I said in my text, credibility to my father program, because we had just started it up and we were trying to get it up and running. And I was just reaching out looking for different resources to help my fatherhood groups to be able to get them all on the same page in fatherhood. And then Man Up was able to do that. Because I don't know if I told you, but the Man Up documentary became part of every fatherhood class that we did. So once we got hold of the DVD, it was consistently part of what we used to help teach our fathers about fatherhood. So it was a great move on your part, and it was timely, and it was very critical and important. It really helped us a lot in Wisconsin to get our fatherhood program, to give it wings and get it up and flying. So thank you for that. And then to come up and hang out with us, and then, because I don't know if I told you, but I would talk about you to people, and they didn't think you existed. You actually came to us. It was a mirage of somebody I had made it until you actually came. So it's pretty cool. Well, thanks again.
Well, you know what? Until you told me that story, I didn't know that, my visit to Racine actually helped you, kind of like shore up your organization. From the way that I looked at it, I know that the way that you guys treated me when you invited me to come down and to be a part of this 10-city tour, I mean, from the flight down to the hotel, to dinner, to giving me the keys to the city. When I tell you that they laid it out for me, I mean, I felt like, did I die and wake up as somebody else? Because I did not. I was like, what is going on? This is just too cool. I couldn't even understand it. It was just like, wow. And I'm so appreciative of that. And, it's kind of like, I did 10 cities, and some cities I did 2 and 3 times, but there are certain cities that the film went to that stands out in my mind. And Milwaukee is one of them. And it's because of you guys, the way that you treated me. It's sometimes you could just get treated so well that nothing else matters. You just know, like, wow, I feel welcome. And that's how I felt. And I just want to thank you for that. We had a gorgeous time. We had a lot of people there. We did kind of like a talk back after the film as well. And a lot of people participated. It was an all around great time out there. And my 2 favorite, I have 3 favorite cities, or the most favorable, but Milwaukee was one of them. Racine was one of them. And I have to say New Haven, there's nobody on the line for New Haven yet, but New Haven was another, the organization, New Haven Families and Fathers, they pretty much did the same thing. They laid it out for me. They brought me down there. They took me to an expensive dinner with their whole staff, put me in a nice hotel. They just really welcomed me so well. And everybody was so excited that the film was there. And that's one of the things that I really want to talk about, because I don't know if you guys can't see it from my perspective, but this film preceded me. Like, it's like everybody knew about the film. They just wanted to touch it, be a part of it, have it come to their city. And by extension, by being the producer and the director of it, the love that I felt was just like, wow, it was just unbelievable. But New Haven definitely laid it out. And that's, let me just say his name. I don't want to mess it up. Blaney Bostic. He's the director of the New Haven Fatherhood Academy. And Barbara Tinney, she is the actual executive director. Those were the 2 people that brought me down, and just wonderful. And the third place, I want to mention him before I go back to Brenda, and I'm coming back to you, Mr. Malone. We have to shout out LeVar Young and Newark Now. Newark turned out for your girl. This brother who I love, LeVar Young, he's not on the call, but LeVar Young is the Senior Vice President at Mercury Public Affairs right now. But LeVar Young used to, he's the person who we went and met with, and I told him I was having a 10-city tour and I wanted to come to New Jersey, and he was like, okay, I'll host you. So he got his team together, and when I tell you, they said we were gonna have the screening in the Newark Museum. That place is beautiful, and they got sponsorship. We had food for her. We had a wine. We had everything. They had everything set up, had paid for everything, well, got sponsors to pay for everything. And we had a town hall meeting, and that's again where everybody had came out for the Newark screening, and we had to turn a lot of people away. But LeVar Young and Erica Knowles, Erica is a sister that was in charge of coordinating and making that thing come together. And I ain't gonna lie, I know I can make some magic happen, but that sister made some stuff happen. And to LeVar Young, thank you for always supporting me, no matter what I was doing or how I was doing it. If I called LeVar and say, hey, I need a hand, he always tried to help me. And those are the people who I remember, and those are the people that I'm indebted to. But I want to just take this time to kind of fill everybody in a little bit more on my story. Now, I know everybody knows that Skylar was the reason for the documentary, but it wasn't just Skylar. It was the fact that every time I told somebody how I felt, that I was disappointed that her father wasn't a part of her life, or I felt bad about the situation, you know, I got that same status quo kind of, oh, girl, don't worry about it. You know, it's a lot of fatherless children. You know, she'll be all right. Oh, you know, get over it. And it was those statements in conjunction with Skylar asking me, because we had moved back to New York in 2006. So we were moving from Atlanta, where she didn't have a lot of interaction with people. So coming to Brooklyn, New York. So she's around a lot of people walking past in the street. And she started asking me like, Mommy, is that my daddy? People passing by, is that my daddy? And I was like, oh my God. And she was asking me, well, where's my daddy? And I didn't have the answer for her. And it kept gnawing at me. It kept eating at my soul. And that combined with the fact that everybody thought it was okay that, you know, she's just another fatherless child. And I was like, no, it's not okay. And that's why I called the film Man Up, because I felt like the men who weren't in the children's life, they needed to just man up. They needed to dig a little deeper and man up. And then I wanted to get answers. So that's why I called it an exploration of a fatherless nation. And that was key for me. And I need everybody to know that I was a producer at CNN, and I know how to produce television. I have worked behind the scenes in film, doing all kind of media casting and stuff behind it. This was my first film. I had no idea what I was doing, but I knew I had a story to tell, and I wanted to tell the story. So I did not know how to start. I didn't know what steps to take, but I just lend to my own understanding. So it's like, okay, I know what I want to do. So I know how to put one foot in front of the other. I know how to call up this person and say, you know, I just kind of pieced it all together, because I think a lot of people think, because I was a television producer, that, oh, she knows how to do a film. And that's where, you know, a lot of people realize they don't know a lot about a lot, because television is a whole nother animal than film. And it's, you know, it's some similarities there, but it's two different things. I know how to tell a story. And my thing was, I started producing it from the time I did a press release. Y'all remember those press releases? All you got to do is put a post out now. You don't have to do a press release. I put out a press release about this documentary, about me doing this documentary. That's when I realized that, oh my God, I'm in over my head. The response I got from the press release alone, so many people talking about, oh my God, I want to be a part of it. Oh, I want to invest in it. I had famous basketball players. I had actors. I had so many people just off of a press release. I hadn't shot one thing yet. It was just off a press release. And I was like, whoa. So that's when I really got scared. The reason that I called it Man Up, because I'm all about shock and awe, and I'm all about media. I'm a media professional. So you got to hook these people quick. And if Man Up didn't do it, nobody did. 'Cause that name, like that, it was like fire. It spread like fire, because it was like, what? Man Up? Who? Who you talking? Who? And it got everybody's attention, and it did exactly what I wanted it to do. So I'm glad that I did do that. But I started picking on some people in my own backyard who I knew were fatherless that I wanted to talk to. And I started, just started doing that. And people knew I was doing this. And I got a call from the Atlanta chapter of Women in Television and Film. And they said they were doing this international film festival, and they had heard I was doing this documentary. And I was like, well, I'm just really starting. I don't really have a lot. And they was like, we heard it's going to be good. You got until, I think I had a month and a half. They was like, it's a short festival, so you only have to have 5 minutes. I didn't have 5 minutes done of the film yet. So I bust my behind, got my 5 minutes. And that's what Brenda, we remember we were there. I put it in the Shorts Film Festival. It was the International Women's Festival, Women's Film Festival. So it was all women from all over the globe. And so I put the documentary in there, and people loved it. They loved it. From that, I saw the film up there the first time on the big screen, and I saw the reaction that the film got. And I was like, whoa, we got all of these, awards and everything. And I was like, okay, wow, like I just put 5 minutes together. And then after that, I started getting calls like, can you come here? Can you do this? And I was like, y'all, I didn't even finish. I'm still doing the film. So that's how fast the film was moving. So I had to move even faster. So as I'm trying to do the interviews in New York, and I got Brenda and Bijou doing the interviews down there, and I have to mention Fred. Let me stop. I have to mention Fred, who's another crew member, Fred Hall. This brother, I worked with him at Creflo Dollar, World Changers Ministry, and I called on him to be my DP in Atlanta, and I didn't pay these people. I didn't have no money to pay these people. I asked him to do it. He was more than happy to do it, and he showed up every time I needed him to show up, and he filmed what I needed. I would be they would put me on, I don't even think FaceTime, was FaceTime available back then, but I think they would put the phone up, and I'd be like, okay, do this, ask this, we made it work. But Fred, I didn't realize then, but I realize now just how much you gave of yourself. And again, I was moving too fast, and I feel a little upset with myself, because it was just like, okay, I just want to, I had tunnel vision. And sometimes you need that to get to the finish line. But now that I look back on this, I really wish I would have handled some things better. And I just want to say, hat off to you, Fred. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for all that you did. But I wanted to say, again, I didn't have a lot of money, so I had an editor who was in the Bronx. I lived in Brooklyn. Now I'm working, I'm a single mom, don't have a lot of money. Me and Skylar used to schlep up to the Bronx, which is like 4 trains. And we had to go, and all day, Saturday and Sunday, I would be in there editing. So it was either we were going to edit that week or we were going to eat. So I had to choose. And I think this is important, because a lot of people don't know that. They see me now and they think, oh, she just got it. She just doing it. I was winging this shit. Did y'all hear me? Winging it. And everything just kept building and building. And it was when I started hearing all of the stories that I realized that this was so much bigger than me. And it was already a plight that I wanted to fight. You know what I'm saying? Fatherlessness. Because my mother and father were there for me, my sister, and my brother. But I have a half brother who is my father's son, and my father wasn't there for him. And even since I was a little child, I had a problem with that. I didn't understand it. I was like, how could you be here with us, but you just left him and his mother? And he used to be like, shut up, Tonya. And I was like, no, I don't understand. Like, I didn't understand, even back then. So it was always in me, but I think it was the documentary that kind of solidified what I was going to be passionate about and what I was going to throw my hat in the fight for. And it became Fatherless Children. Because of Skylar, being young, I didn't tell too much about the situation, but Skylar, I think she saw her father. He was there when she was born, but he was there for around 2 weeks after she was born, and then we didn't know where he was. I didn't know where he was, and she was asking me where her dad was. I literally didn't know, and I was trying to find out, but I had no way to find out where he was. And then a couple of years after that, he just popped up. Oh, and that was her first time seeing him, and he came maybe once or twice when she was between 5 and 7, and then she didn't see him again for a long time, and she really struggled with that. But she keeps everything in, and that's what scares me, because she doesn't share how she feels. She act like it doesn't bother her. That's why in the book Fatherless Like Me, that book is really our life. I would go in her room, and all of the pictures with her and her father when she was a baby would always be on the floor. And I would just keep picking up the pictures, putting them back. And finally, like, why are these pictures always on the floor? I don't know. Then it clicked. She's acting out. She don't want him up there. She wants him on the floor. And that's why we put that in the book, because that helped other mothers realize your child might not be saying it verbally to you, but if you pick up on the signs and you watch them, you'll see it. And that's what I started realizing. She was acting out and she was having problems like that. And it went from that. He showed up at her graduation from 6th grade when she was valedictorian. And he showed up again when she was graduating from junior high school, where she was valedictorian. And he was right up front. And all the teachers and everybody was like, who is this man? Because they ain't never seen him. And she barely seen him. So she's like, I guess that's him. So anyway, after that, she seen him 1 or 2 more times. He was not there for any of it. And, when she graduated as salutatorian from Bishop Loughlin High School, he did not come to that. So we don't know where he is. I keep saying he's missing out, because she's a hell of a child. And I hope that he gets it together, because there's still time. But I just wanted to fill people in on that. And I want to go to Brenda, because after I go to Brenda, I'm coming to you, Mr. Malone, so get ready. But Brenda, I want you to talk about being a producer on the project, what it felt like. Tell me about your experience, and anything else that you want to talk about.
First of all, I want to thank you again. I know you were thanking me for being a part. I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to be a part. And watching the different tours and the screenings that you went to, and hearing the questions from the people, even now looking at it, I can see how riveting the documentary is and was. And, I saw one little boy on the one in New Jersey, he said, my father died before I was born. What should I do to try to find somebody who can show me how to be a father? So for me, being a part of the documentary, Tonia, I really feel like you put the term man up on the map.
I ain't gonna say nothing, but yeah,
because back at that time in like 2006, 2007, when we were doing it, man up wasn't as popular.
They weren't saying it. It wasn't a coined term at that time.
Exactly. People were like, man up, what does that mean? And then, the exploration of a fatherless nation, of course, kind of told the story. But it was one of the most impactful documentaries or productions that I've worked on, because the balance was there. The one testimony of the guy who gave his whole paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
He really loved his child. I can't remember if he had 2 children or 1. And to see the emotional turmoil he went through, his ex-wife played games with him and would not, to see a father who really wanted to be a part of their child's life. I mean, the money is one issue, but he really wanted to be in his child's life. And this, the balance that you gave of showing fathers who really do love their children. Mm-hmm. Every man is not an absentee dad that just disappears. I raised my daughter as a single parent, and so I know how that is to have fathers who are in and out of their life. But that particular brother, really, really was compelling because he wanted to be in his child's life and he wasn't given that opportunity. So the balance was important for me to just hear you tell the story from not just the mother's perspective, but also, you know, from a man's perspective. And Charlotte was a real blessing for me because, you know, I know Charlotte, I got a chance to really see her. And the whole time when she was parenting her children, she was an entrepreneur. She was working, you know, so there's a lot of different dynamics to the fatherhood story. And I know one brother did say that it's difficult, or I think I heard it on the New Jersey screening. It's hard for a mother to be a father or to train a boy how to be a man. But I have seen women who, you know, have to play both roles and do an amazing job. I know I had to in certain areas. But it was an honor to be a part of the documentary, and Tonia, to watch you parent Skylar and to see the young lady that she's become, just to watch this story evolve and know that it's still very, you know, the fatherless part of what's happening in our nation and in our culture is very prevalent. It is just as important as it was when we worked on this project. Another thing I want to say, Tonia, because I heard you say in one of the screenings, the documentary is good, but it's not really what it, you know, I know where you wanted it to be, but I saw you grind to be able to produce that film. And everything about it is perfect, just the way that it came out. And when I say, when you came to Atlanta, we were at Phipps Plaza.
I know.
Okay.
The AMC at Phipps.
Yeah, we went to the premiere mall where there's Saks and Gucci and Dolce & Gabbana. Our screening was in Phipps Plaza. So I know you had to dig deep in your pockets to do a lot of what you did, but I think the documentary came out exactly the way that God wanted it to be. People are still talking about it. Here we are having a reunion, and it's still just as prevalent as it was back then. I think what we did gave it legs. That first film gave it legs. But girl, you knocked it out of the park with that documentary on the shoestring budget that you had.
I agree.
Shoestring. I ain't had no shoestrings.
I know.
Like, I ain't had no shoestrings. People don't understand. I had no budget.
I know.
It was pretty much, I decided to do this. And I'm going to tell this story, but I want to get everybody in because I really want people, if for nothing else, the people that are on this call, I really want y'all to understand how it started. And if you can understand how it started to see where it is, you can really see from my perspective how huge this film was. But before I do that, I want to say, Brenda, I'm going to play Duvall's clip that you were talking about, the man who, you know, the father who was saying that, you know, so much money gets taken out of his check, he goes home with 1 penny. I have a little clip of that I do want to play for you guys.
Duval Owens. I'm 28 years old. I have 4 children, and their names are Angelique Owens, Taj Owens, and Jordan Owens, and Dominique Jackson. And I'm representing the other side for the fathers who are not heard. I felt that it was very imperative that someone of our culture to speak out on what's going on with fathers across the world. It's not just mothers going through these difficult times, but it's also fathers as well. And we need to be heard because we're not heard amongst the court systems, amongst so many other places. You know, I was a person who was responsible as far as paying child support on my own. And, you know, she felt the need to go back and fight the case for about an entire year, to the point where I don't know what happened to this day, but to the point where I was coming home with paychecks for 1 cent. 1 cent. I have them still framed. I'm like, wow. I fell behind on bills and all kind of stuff, and I tried to work things out with her aside from the court, and she would not do it because of the involvement that I had with someone new. And there was a whole jealousy issue where she would call and act like, you know, the kids were at the hospital. I'm running around from different hospitals to find these children and not there, just to get something going. There's a lot of drama. I called my ex and I tried to speak to my children, and she in fact picked up, surprisingly, and asked me what I wanted. And I said, I want to speak to my children. It's been about a year now, a little over a year. And I miss them. I'm getting impatient. I want to speak to them. And she laughed and hung the phone up and said, well, before hanging up, said no, laughed and then hung up. So this is what I'm dealing with, and I'm pretty sure a lot of men are dealing with, and it's unjust, it's unfair.
Okay. Hey guys, can everybody hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was another part that was one of my favorite parts, Duvall, because I think that really balanced the film for me, because we had his story and it was so real. When, you feel him when he's talking. You understand that these fathers want to do better, but they can't do but so much with their hands tied behind their back because they don't have the money. But to show a father who really wanted to, who was keeping him from, seeing his kids, I really felt like, to me as a storyteller, that balanced out the story. Mm-hmm. So, you guys talk about that part. If you guys have anything to say, anybody can just jump in here.
Well, I can, when my father's seen the video in the groups, I had quite a few fathers that could identify with that, because in Wisconsin, where we have some of the most strictest child support rules and regulations in the country on the books. I mean, a lot of them are real draconian, and it's really stacked against a lot of the dads. So I had quite a few fathers that was going through similar issues, and it was great that they was able to see somebody in film discuss similar issues that they were going through, and that really helped them out a lot. To let them know that they weren't the only ones, not only in the state of Wisconsin, but they were finding out that it was fathers across the country that was dealing with a similar issue. So that was a very important interview and segment, and it rung real true for a lot of my dads.
Nice. Anybody else want to jump in there?
I think the other thing on the other side of that, to just piggyback off of what's like he said, is the children were hurting probably as well. Now they're adults, so the other damage of it, the father was hurting, but the children missed out on that relationship and that opportunity. And I can speak to that because with my daughter's father being in and out, it impacts them as adults. And so that's the hidden part of the curse of it all, is what the children actually go through when the father, wants to be with the children, and the mother goes through the whole gyrations, whether she's making up stories or says he doesn't care about you. There's a whole lot of psychological and emotional damage that happens to the children, in addition to what the father was going through.
And I'm going to jump in on the end of that, Brenda, because I want everybody to know that her daughter, who is my godchild, Sarah Daphne, she was in the documentary. Enterprising young woman, and she has skills that haven't even been tapped yet, but she's a producer, she's an editor, she's a fashion guru. I mean, she does it all. And when you see her, when I was looking back at the documentary, preparing for this, and I was watching Sarah, and I was like, look at Sarah. You could tell she was in disarray. She wasn't in a good place, even though she was pretending she was. But to see her go from that to who she is now, I want to give you just, take my hat off to you, Brenda. Job well done. Single mom, job well done.
And the other thing, I'm going to say this and I'm going to let somebody else talk. The other thing I learned is when you gave her the mic, and I was able to learn that she did blame herself for her father being absentee. I had been telling her for years, it's not your fault, Daddy and I had this issue and that issue. So I was able to hear the revelation in real time while we were filming, that she said, yeah, everybody said, my mommy said, don't blame my dad, but she took it personally. And that's the other pain that is just not really realized for a lot of people.
Yeah,
Thank you for making her a part of it.
I think that took her out of her shell as well, because sometimes people don't realize you put a mic in front of a person, they come to life. They come to life. Charlotte, hey, I forgot you were on. Hi, let me introduce you. Let me go back. Okay, Charlotte Church, she was one of the, to me, one of the biggest featured cast members in this documentary. She is the woman with the 5 children by 5 different men that people used to drive me crazy about. And she was my favorite part of the documentary. Right. Charlotte, first say hello to everybody, and then I'm going to talk about you a little bit.
Hello. Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Glad to be here.
Glad to see you.
That first and foremost, that this single mama raised those 5 kids, and she got 5 beautiful grown kids, and they are really doing their thing. And I am so proud of you. And I know that sounds crazy, but I am, because every time somebody gave me shit about you, I gave it back to them. I gave it back to them, because at all of the town hall meetings, after the town hall discussions after the film, you had at least 5 to 10 people standing up there wanting to say, but what about her? And what about the 5 kids? And y'all want to blame the men. And I tried so hard to balance the film. And I thought that your story, to me, because I'm a storyteller, I believe in the art of telling stories. And I fell in love with your story. So when I see your babies who are grown now and they're on social media with their own businesses, I am just like, oh my God, look at them. She did that.
I wanted to be able to take some time out today to, be a part of this reunion, and to thank Tonia and everyone. And, telling my story was not something easy to do, because of course I knew that it would come with a certain amount of criticism. And so, just to be able to take that step, to go forward and to do that, if it only, help one person or shed the light, for someone else in similar situations. But I am proud to say that all 5 of the children are now grown with college degrees, businesses, families of their own, doing well, respectable, and to God be the glory. There's no way I could have done any of it without him, without God. So, all praises to him for that. And I am back in my hometown, Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And when I talk to some of my friends in other states, they say, oh girl, we can tell you back at home, we hear that Southern drawl, but I'm proud to be the Southern girl that I am. I formulated a line of skincare products, which consist of soaps and lotions and hair products and beard oil, and just good for your skin, good skin loving ingredients. The name of my company is Aggiunte. That's AGGIUNTES.com. That means additions in Italian. I thought about my concept, wanted to rebrand, and, reflecting on the different testimonies from our clients, over the years, and them telling us, you just added so much to my life value and this and that. And I wanted the name Additions in English, but it was taken. So when I did my research and I heard the Italian version of it, I just fell in love with that. And so one of the big things that happened for me recently is the local Hotel Indigo now carries my products in their gift shop. So that's a big deal. The downside to that is all the kids are grown. I'm sorry?
I said, that's a real big deal.
Congratulations. Yeah, that is. Congratulations.
Wow.
Thank you. Yeah. Nice. And so it's kind of like a one-woman show now that they are grown, when they can help out, they do. But other than that, I'm just, winging it myself, but all is well with us.
Great. You know what? I have to do this because Tabiti, I hope you are there, because I forgot to introduce you, because I know you're peeping in and out. But if you can come in, I would love to introduce you. Tabiti, are you there? Okay. Well, let me introduce him just in case he doesn't come back, but he's on the line. He's a champion for the former president, Mr. Barack Obama, White House Fatherhood. I want to come to you real quick, Sir Malone. Jump on in there.
Hey, Tabiti's back on.
Yes.
See if you can get him to speak.
Tabiti, can you
yield.
talk? Hold on.
He came and then he went.
I want him to. I asked him, can he hop on?
That's my Omega Sci-Fi brother. You know, the Qs have adopted the movement. That's part of what we do. But we're working with the Divine Nine all the way down the line.
You know, I'm going to read what Tabiti is saying. He basically said, great Zoom reunion, remembering the great vision and work of Tonia, producing a powerful documentary that has, wait, hold on. You have he can't jump on, so I'm gonna keep reading this. A great vision and work of Tonia, producing a powerful documentary that has impacted the lives of so many and has given life to the fatherhood movement. I have to get focused on the Knicks game. Appreciate y'all. And wait, let me read this top part that he said. This part, he said, Tonia, you had the courage to produce a documentary speaking on the critical subject of fatherhood. Your film spoke on issues in fatherhood society was not addressing.
Ready.
Wow, that's powerful. I got one more. Let me just see this part. He says, Tonia, because of your film, Brother Malone and I met, realized we were fraternity brothers and have been side by side as friends,
ever since.
Co-leaders in the fatherhood movement all over the country. Yeah, y'all are deep, but the way y'all love on me, let me just tell y'all something. The way that Franklin Malone, Sabiti Boone, LeVar Young, Jeffrey Johnson. Let me tell this story real quick. Jeffrey Johnson is
National Partnership for Community Leadership.
Yeah, but let me tell you the story. When we were doing the 10 city tour, he had invited me down to his conference. And when these fatherhood organizations have conferences, they're big. They're big conferences with a whole lot of people attending. So he invited me down to screen the film and everything. And I did not know that he was going to give me an award. Now, this guy's at the top of the fatherhood movement.
He trained
gave
me
an award after the screening, and on the way back, you're gonna laugh at this, Sir Malone, but on the way back, because I had drove down there with Broswell, and on the way back, he said he was in the car, I'm driving, and he was just sitting off to the side. He said, I'm still sitting here just realizing, you know how long I've been doing this work? He said, I've been doing this work in the fatherhood movement for a long time. He said, I've never gotten an award. He was mad about getting an award. He said, I have never, he said, you just got an award from Jeffrey Johnson. Let me read Jeffrey Johnson's message that he sent to me because he could not make the reunion. So basically, he sent this message that says, Tonia, unfortunately, I will not be able to attend our session tonight as previously planned. I do want to wish you a big and heartfelt congratulations again on your extraordinary film dedication and entrepreneurial genius. I take pride in the fact that you included our Fatherhood Conference in Washington, D.C. on your tour over 10 years ago. Love you much and wish you many, many years of success with this extraordinary achievement and Man Up. And again, I'm clueless to how big these people are. I know now, but while I was in it, you know, okay, he's the top of this. I wasn't really understanding, but now that I see how huge these fatherhood organizations are and the power that they yield all over the country and the work that they do, for them to just love on me, embrace me, embrace the film,
you broke the mold. One of a kind.
Yes. And that's why we needed to do this reunion. I wish more people would have got on here, but I'm thankful for you guys because I feel like if more people, we wouldn't have got a chance to really talk and express as much as we were. I'm going to play a clip right now from another fatherhood leader. His name is Bruce Trammell.
I'm Bruce Trammell Sr. I'm a fatherhood specialist in New Haven, Connecticut. And many years ago, Tonia Grady brought us a gift. And that gift was a Man Up documentary. And what we did was we showed it to the public. And it was really powerful. There were so many stories that came out of it. So many people were in tears, actually, as they listened and as they told their stories. So now here we are years later, and Mr. Burroughs, who got it from Tonia back then, he also showed it to some fathers that we dealt with just a couple of days ago. And these fathers brought their kids with them, and they enjoyed it also. So many years later, it still has the same impact. As a matter of fact, one grandfather, he was so moved, he actually sang us a song, and we didn't expect that at all. So we want to thank you, Tonia, for bringing this to us, and we appreciate it, and we're happy to be a part of your Man Up documentary reunion.
But I meant to do this, but I want to thank a couple of people before this time actually gets eaten up. I want to really give a big shout out to Wendy White, who goes by Wendy Allen Smith now, but she's the executive director at Three Doctors Foundation. And Wendy White was a person that I had heard was well connected and was doing some things in New Jersey. And I reached out to her and I told her about the film and I told her what I was trying to do. And I asked her if she would help me. And this sister, not only did she help me, she really dug in deep. She went into her contacts, started calling people saying, y'all need to know about this sister. Y'all need to know about her film. And you know, when she started making those calls, a lot of doors were open to me. I want to give a shout out to Brian Cogshell, very talented musician that let us use some of his music in the film. Thank you so much, Brian. Also want to give a big shout out to Monica Gibbs. This talented sister found out about the film and asked if she could help by providing some graphics for the film. And all of the beautiful graphics that you see associated with Man Up, that is from Miss Monica Gibbs. The Drawing Tree is the name of her company. This sister is so very talented, and the artwork was very powerful and moving and matched the film. So for that, Monica, from the bottom of my heart, I thank you so much. Of course, we have merch for sale. If you want to continue supporting Man Up, the documentary, you can always purchase our classic t-shirt, which is $20.
Hi, my name is Skylar and I live in Brooklyn, New York. I love riding my ripstick, playing basketball, and most of all, playing with my favorite stuffed animal, Miss Sophie. Hi, I'm still Skylar, just a tad bit older now, and this is my book, Fatherless Like Me, Growing Up Without Dad. It is now available as an ebook on Amazon for $9.99. You can also get a soft copy for $15 plus $5 shipping and handling. This works as a great stocking stuffer, so get yours now.
They like who that, hold up, is that Ronnie E? When I pull up on the scene, I'm in something clean. I've been grinding for so long, now they notice me. Planting seeds for my future and my family tree. Stay down and I bossed up, had to move a little different. Had to find my purpose, then I found that I was gifted. Living in the present, every day is like a holiday. Took a flight to England, I say vacay, they say holiday.
And I remember one time I made the mistake of doing a fatherhood program with a group of adolescent girls because I was running a fatherhood program at a YMCA and there was a girls program there. So I had the great idea that I'm going to do a little fatherhood session with the girls because I would say 80% of the girls were fatherless, right? And boy, and then once it was on the table, it got emotional. It got tense. There was tears. There was anger. There was shutdown. And I never did it again because I was like, man, I'm in over my head because these young girls let me have it. They handed me my head. It was about 9 or 10 of them. And out of the 10 of them, there was one young lady who was speaking glowingly of her father. My dad is my, and God, they shredded the poor girl. She was like the bad guy for having a dad, but the other girls was really having a lot of struggles, a lot of problems, and the response was a very emotional one, and it was raw. And I had to take a step back. If you have any questions or concerns, it has a profound effect on
just
girls,
go to gradygirl.com. Thank you.
So for Tonia to be the one to bring that man up to the table, it added another level of balance and credibility that I think that was needed at the time. So.
Wow.
I'm so glad you said that, Zaki, because I don't remember, Tonya, the little girl's name with the light eyes.
Her name is Summer Robinson.
When we filmed her, our camera person was crying. I mean, we couldn't hold back the tears. She didn't care about the money, the child support. She just wanted him to be at her events. She wanted him to care. She wanted him to be there. And so you're right, Zaki. It's different with girls. They want their dads to be their superheroes, and you know, when they're not there, I mean, that little girl just ripped we were all in tears at her story.
Yeah. She was a big part of the film being so great because she was able to wear her emotions on her sleeve. You felt her pain. I am trying to bring up the video because I want to play that right now.
It's been at least 7 or 8 years, and I just want to connect more and spend more time because he's been gone for so long. I want my dad to know that I want him to come to my events. I want him to see what's happening in my life, to see what I've accomplished, to be there for me. And he's not. It just doesn't make any sense.
Waiting on the world to change. We keep on waiting.
I've been in touch with her for a while, and she had got back in touch with her dad, and things were going good for a little bit, and then he disappeared again. And I talked to her, and she was just telling me how she felt about that. And I really wanted her to be on this call because I really want to see where she's at. I know she's a grown woman now, but I would love to know. Oh, Sheila's here. Hi, Sheila. I would hold on. I'm gonna introduce you in a minute. I would love to know her story, to see how that turned out. Go ahead and introduce Miss Sheila Gray, who is also featured in the documentary film. Hi, Sheila.
Hi, Sheila.
Hi.
Sheila, tell them who you are and what your business is, because I'm proud of this sister right here. She has her own business and she's doing big things. And I remember when I think it was you just knew about me and asked me, could you meet with me, and took me to lunch. And she just was saying, oh, can I ask you some questions? I want to know how to do, because at first she was trying to write a book. How do I write a book? How do I do this? And I took time and I, listened and gave my advice, and we became friends. And to look at her now, she's big time. She has stars, celebrities wearing her clothes.
You know what?
Go ahead, talk about it.
Yeah, it was great. I remember that too. I remember just asking, like, can I ask you some questions? And she took me under, and at that time, I was trying to write a book. I had started working in fashion, but my company's Sheila Gray Collection, and do accessories and t-shirts now, tote bags, stuff like that. And when she mentioned the film to me, it meant a lot because I grew up without a dad. So, you don't realize all those insecurities and things that come up. And especially until you get to a point where you're like, wait a minute, there's some things I never talked about. I guess it is bothering me. Or I guess, I don't have that security that, especially because in the fashion industry, it's all about self and a little bit of ego and a little bit of everything else. So when she said it, and I knew that I could help somebody else or younger girls that were facing the same thing, that may have made some bad decisions, because I feel like where I am now and with the company and with doing things, it did take me longer because I had to go through some challenges and stuff from, not having a dad around. And for me, it was harder because my mom was part-time, really my aunt raised me. And so for me, it was like, okay, not having that and not having a dad. I think I didn't actually even know who my dad was until I was almost 19. So yeah.
But I want to just say this, Sheila, your part of the story was one of the parts that really kind of like pierced my soul, because her father, she didn't know who her father was, but then she found out that her father was living with another family, like 2 or 3 miles away from you.
Yeah, he was almost the majority of my life. When I found out about him, he was 20 minutes away from me.
Mm.
And even then, when we met, we talked, we thought everything was good. And then because of his other family, it was like, no, I don't know if you're my child. Like after it was maybe like a couple of months and then into a year. And at first it was like, yeah, call me dad or whatever. And then you're back out of the picture, and, passed away a couple years ago. And
sorry to hear
I didn't even know that. Well, I only knew it through an obituary.
Right.
So, and I found out that there are like, I think 4 or 5 sisters that I've never met. But, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here. I think because of this reunion, I think I'm going to revisit this documentary. And I swear to y'all, I did not think of this until this very moment as I'm speaking it. I'm going to revisit it, and I'm telling you what I'm going to do because God is just giving it to me. I'm going to go now and replenish and give new stories, breathe new life into this documentary, and come out with a man up too. Thank you, Lord. You see how he do?
Go for it.
You see how he do?
And he talks.
So you should.
I swear that just came. I did not have that thought prior to this.
Yeah, you can do it too. You're equipped.
Oh, it's gonna be good. It's 8:30, and I know you guys have things to do. I just want to say again, I appreciate y'all so much, and I love y'all. Zaki, thank you so much for everything.
You're welcome.
If you need anything, I'm in New York. I'm a phone call away.
Okay, I got you. I follow you on social media, so you ain't far away.
Well, it was nice to see some of the faces with some of the names that I have been hearing for so many years. Franklin and Zaki and Tabidi, and I've been hearing about these wonderful people that we're all bringing it together, and all these different men's organizations, fathers organizations. So thank you for the opportunity to meet these wonderful people that have gotten behind your vision.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate y'all. And I'm going to keep y'all abreast of this new directive I got. So I will keep y'all abreast.
We saw it happen real time.
Real time. It's all good. And I just want to let you guys know that because I'm having so many challenges with my other film, For the Love of Diggs, which compared to Man Up, when I look at it and I see the growth, and I want so many people to see the film. It's a beautiful film, but I'm having some difficulties and I can't talk about it. And that's why you don't hear me promoting it and, doing a lot of stuff with it. But pretty soon I should have some news and I'll start promoting it again because I really want people to see the story. It's a beautiful story and a beautiful film. And only, not a lot of people have seen it. And y'all know how I am with my babies. These films are my babies. Look, the films are Skylar's brothers and sisters. For real, because I put so much into them. I gave birth to them. So that's how I feel about it. I want to just read off a couple of people. I want to say, mention Kevin Green, KK. He was the consultant producer on the documentary. Because at the time, again, I had never done a film. So I'm smart enough to know, get somebody who know more than you. So I had, signed him on as a consultant producer. So if I had a question or needed to ask something, he was there to help me. So I thank you for that. Let me just say this before I forget. To anybody who helped in any way with this documentary, let me say from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Whether you were a crew member, whether you were a supporter, whether you helped me set up, you sold tickets at the theater, whatever you did, if you carried a chair or a table, I want to say thank you. Whatever it is. And there are two people who are supporters, but they went above and beyond the call of duty for me. And that's my cousin, Deb Griffin. Deb, when I tell you, before I got my own t-shirts made up, she had made up a t-shirt, was wearing it on the street corners. My cousin got a film. She was handing out flyers, made up her own. She just went crazy, and in a good way. Like, she supported this film so hard. And it takes that kind of support to make it really grow. And you know, every screening that she could get to, she came, she worked, she sold tickets, she sold shirts, merch, whatever it is. And I just want to say thank you to her. She couldn't be on the call, but I want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you to her, to my bestie, Angel Brown. She was another one. She should have been a publicist because she was promoting this film to anybody who would listen all day and all night. My girlfriend got a film. You got to see it. Man up. Oh my God. She was just promoting it everywhere, whatever I needed. And at the New York screening, the first big screening that we did at the Helen Mills Theater, those pretty party bags that we gave out, my girlfriend Angel, she put all that together, and it was very detailed. It had the name of the film on the items and ribbons, and it was beautiful. So Angel, thank you for all that you do. I may not say it enough, but I love you and I thank you, girl. I appreciate you. So love to her. And Tabiti Boone is the one who gave me the idea. We were talking one day, he's a friend of mine, we were talking, and he started talking about how important the documentary was. And he was saying, you were before your time. When this film came out, it changed things. You know, we weren't prepared for this. It really, you know, like changed the culture. And it was at that point, he was letting me see that there was nothing like this before. Man Up broke the mold. And I really, that was when I was like, wow. And I was like, that's when I really started thinking about it. Like, yeah, it was this, it was that. But again, you move so fast that you don't even stop to realize like, wow, that was pretty significant what you did. And it really changed the culture because people started having the conversation. And I don't know if any of y'all caught this, but after Man Up, there started to be other movies named Man Up. There started to be television shows named Man Up. Nobody was talking about Man Up before Tonia Grady was talking about it.
That's true.
Isn't that, Bren? It's so true.
True.
And it's crazy because there were some people doing movies about the fatherhood, fatherless, not really fatherless like I was doing it. They were really talking about something else, but I know Jenks Morton had done some really great work and a couple of other people, but my film was different because this was the first time that you had a female director and producer who did a film about fatherlessness. And this was a game changer for Man Up. It was the children speaking for themselves. Usually you have somebody talking for the kids. In this film, the kids were able to tell you how they felt. That was the game changer for y'all. You tell me what y'all thought the game changer was. For me, that's what it was.
I think it was that, but I think it was also you were living your story while you were telling it. So it was a moving story. It was a living, breathing story as you were telling it. And, you know, the word that came up while you were talking, because I didn't realize that, you know, I saw you producing every day at work. So I didn't realize that you were like, this is my first film. I don't really know what I'm doing. You looked like you were in command the whole entire time. So to hear you say that is a revelation for me tonight. And the word that the Lord dropped in my spirit was what made this project so powerful was your ingenuity. And I looked it up while we were on the phone, while we were on the call, because that just dropped. And the definition is skill or cleverness in devising or combining, inventiveness. You were living and breathing this story as you were telling it. And the reason that I think God gave me that word ingenuity is because this was a project that he birthed in you. And I think it was healing for you. It was healing for Skylar. And then the book came. I think this thing was bigger than even you and Skylar. It was God ordained for you to tell this story. And I remember when you started telling me about the tours and all this stuff going on in these, and I'm like, it's only like 10 minutes, 5 minutes long, and like, this was something that God gave you, and the ingenuity of it, you living and breathing it while you were telling it. and all the other nuances, letting the fathers talk and hearing their side, letting the children talk and hearing their side. All these people, you turned this into a movement, Tonia, at a time when it needed to be a movement, but it really wasn't on anybody's radar screen. So like I said, God dropped that word ingenuity. That's what made the story so powerful. You were living it while you were telling it. And you gave the mic to the children and to the men. And then the brothers are key. I mean, look at how somebody said it became their teaching tool. So
thank you.
I know you keep saying,
I know right there, Brenda.
I know you keep saying that it wasn't all that you thought it would be. God doesn't want you did it exactly the way that it needed to be done. Those interviews are captured and they are history.
Yes.
They are just as prevalent today as the moment we went to those locations and shot them.
Very true.
So girl, do whatever you want to do to move it forward. But what you've done up to this point was God ordained, and the mission was accomplished, and it's still living and breathing.
Amen. That was a word, Brent. Thank you for that. That was a word.
Yep.
Ingenuity. I received that.
I had no idea you were struggling with this project.
Struggling? What?
That in terms of how do I do it? How do I put it together?
All I knew is that I wanted to get this story out. I had to do something. I could not just continue to be in a space that I didn't want to be in with my child asking me where her father is, and I don't have the answer. And then having all of these people tell me, oh, it's okay. It's a lot of fatherless people. That wasn't good enough for me. So for me, it was enough to rise up in me and say, okay, go figure it out. Go ask people, talk to people. Why do men walk away from their families? What are mothers doing? They need to be accountable for keeping their children away from the fathers. Can we do this differently? I mean, there were so many things that I wanted to ask the question. And that's where it started for me. It was like, I want to ask these questions. And again, that's where I started going with it. And then the whole documentary thing, because see, doing a film is different from television, but a documentary is different from a movie. It's different. So it's a beast all of its own, especially now that I totally am immersed in being a documentarian. Mm-hmm. Like I understand it now. Back then, I was just like, oh, okay, wait, ooh, okay. Ooh, let me catch this curve.
The other thing again is you were parenting that whole entire time. You had a fire. You got fired.
Yes, I did.
I mean, you know what I mean? You had all your life in storage. I mean, nobody really knows the backstory. You were parenting while you were telling this story.
Yes,
and
totally.
My
life was really coming apart and coming together all at the same time. Like literally all at the same time.
So yeah, I learned some things tonight that I didn't know. You really looked like you knew what you were doing.
Well, the part that I knew was I knew what questions to ask. I knew who I wanted to talk to. I knew how to get to those people. And if I couldn't get to them, I knew who to call to get to them. So, you know what I'm saying? Like it was, okay, I don't really know what I'm doing here, but okay, if I want to go here, I know I got to jump here, skip here, dance here to get here. And that's how that went.
Tenacity.
But Brenda, like, I think that's what he does the best with all of us. When it's that God ordained project, you know, you don't know, people don't know that you don't know. He just is a part of a process. And I think, Tonia, you were in that process way before. I look at your old films of you interviewing people. So you were already in the process. You were already Joseph. Joseph was getting all the knowledge he needed, even though, and
right now, preach.
Not knowing what you were doing, it allowed things to come forth and people to be open and honest and just feel like, you know what, I can talk to her. So he's got a plan.
And in another way, Tonia, you knew what you thought you didn't know.
Yeah.
You did know, because you're a Black woman. You know the history of the African-American woman to take it and make it work. Women like my mother, my aunts, that just had to wing it, make it work, do it on time, and just take it as it came and move it forward. So you're Harriet Tubman, Rosa Parks type, and just
But the great
and I
part
would like
about
to
that
add
is,
that I
yeah,
would
the
like to
great part
add
about
that
that is, yeah, you don't have to stop there. You know what I'm saying? Now you open the door. Now take that door to the next level. You know
And
what I'm saying?
another
Now is
thing,
the first time it's okay for
yeah.
people to talk about, like, yeah, that did this in my past, but look where, look where presently I'm at because you did live the story.
And another thing I learned tonight that I think it was Zaki that said men were looking at you like, man up, like how you gonna tell us? So
Yeah.
God even graced you to be the person to deliver that message. It might not have been so well received from any other female. That was your ministry, your mouthpiece. That you were able to receive that.
Bren, when I say I got it bad, but that started the conversation because I didn't just let them tell me, well, who are you to say this or what name made you name this documentary this. It allowed me to be in a space to say, hey, this is what I think. This is what I'm trying to do. And because I was coming from I think an honest place, people were really listening to me and hearing me.
I didn't realize that I love the title, but I just never thought from a man's perspective, they might have looked at you kind of standoffish, like, what makes you think you can step to us like that?
Sir Malone, I want you to jump in here because when you have a giant in the fatherhood movement like Sir Malone, who basically, call you up like, who are you and what is this about a man up? Right? Am I lying?
But let me give you your scripture. Your scripture comes out of Malachi 4:6. In those days, I will turn the hearts of the fathers to the children and the hearts of the children to the fathers, lest there be a calamity in the land. That's what you did.
Wow.
Amen.
That's what you did. We didn't know how it was going to be done and who was going to do it. But that is what you did, sister. Amen. God used you as that instrument to turn our hearts because those children, focusing on those children, because really people don't understand. Fatherhood is about the children. It ain't really about the fathers. We're trying to make better dads and men so that they can be that for their children and families. So let's be clear on what that father is. So I give you that scripture. I see it clearly.
What's the scripture again? Malachi
4:6. In those days, I will turn the hearts of the fathers to the children and the hearts of the children to the fathers, lest there be a calamity in the land.
Wow.
That's what happened. Look at that, y'all. That was a fulfillment of the prophecy of Malachi. But how do we know it was going to be a strong Black sister who would tell that story in a way that we couldn't? Come on now.
Ingenuity.
Frank, I want you to please just talk to them about pretty much what the documentary did for the culture and how all the fatherhood groups really kind of like loved on it and made it what it was, because a lot of people don't understand, like you're talking about fatherhood organizations where they are deep. Fatherhood organizations are like the mob. Like they are heavy in rotation, right?
You got to look at Tabiti Boone, his work with Barack Obama.
Yes.
One of the top fathers in the nation. He was honored by Barack Obama. And then, my organization gave Barack Obama My Brother's Keeper. Did you know that?
Yes, I did. And I remember y'all had almost took my film all the way up to President Obama. And when he started the Fatherhood Initiative, he was going to play a clip of my film before he came out. But something happened. I don't know what.
That's okay. And then here's the other piece. Another piece I didn't want you to miss. We have a group at the court system in DC called the Fathering Court. And instead of locking fathers up, they're helping them to get back with their children. Hey,
Still thankful to everybody. Let me read these names again to all of the people that helped. And I'm gonna start with my crew. Of course, B Parish. We got Bijou Romero. We got Fred Hall. I want to give a shout out to the guy who edited the documentary. His name is Lincoln Frost. He was the editor, and Will Caldwell was one of the shooters as well. So I'm just going to start at the top as far as the fatherhood leaders. Okay, Franklin Malone, again, CEO of 100 Fathers, Rites of Passage, Boyhood to Manhood. Wendy White, Executive Director at Three Doctors Foundation. Jeffrey Johnson, the National Responsible Fatherhood Clearinghouse. Tabiti Boone, former President Obama White House Fatherhood Champion. LeVar Young, Senior Vice President at Mercury Public Affairs. We already said you guys, Brenda. Blaney Bostic, Director of New Haven Fatherhood Academy. Bill Stephanie, Principal at Broad Market Media, LLC. Sheila Gray, Founder, Sheila Gray Collection. Zaki Dar, Founder of Pro Graphics. Give a thank you to the YMCA of Racine, Wisconsin. Thank you to all of you guys for bringing me down there and giving me the keys to the city and treat me so nice. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I want to give a shout out to Alicia Crow, entrepreneur, author, lawyer, co-host, and vocalist. And if anybody was at the New York screening, she does a one-woman show, and she did this one-woman piece on fatherhood that was just breathtaking. Thank you, Alicia, for that. Wishing you all the best. I wish you could have been a part of this. Again, sending thank you out to Kenneth Broswell for assisting me and walking me into the doors to some of these fatherhood groups and to helping me get this movement along. Again, thank you to Deborah Griffin, my cuz. I just call her my cuz, Deb. Angel Brown, thank you to her. Will Caldwell, thank you to him. Kevin Green, KK Spice, thank you to him. And to all the other people that I didn't mention on here, again, from my heart, thank you guys. Brenda. Of course, we have merch for sale. If you want to continue supporting Man Up, the documentary, you can always purchase our classic t-shirt, which is $20.
Hi, my name is Skylar and I live in Brooklyn, New York. I love riding my ripstick, playing basketball, and most of all, playing with my favorite stuffed animal, Miss Sophie. Hi, I'm still Skylar, just a tad bit older now, and this is my book, Fatherless Like Me, Growing Up Without Dad. It is now available as an ebook on Amazon for $9.99. You can also get a soft copy for $15 plus $5 shipping and handling. This works as a great stocking stuffer, so get yours now.
They like who that, hold up, is that Ronnie E? When I pull up on the scene, I'm in something clean. I've been grinding for so long, now they notice me. Planting seeds for my future and my family tree. Stay down and I bossed up, had to move a little different. Had to find my purpose, then I found that I was gifted. Living in the present, every day is like a holiday. Took a flight to England, I say vacay, they say holiday.